Bonus Features!
Hello and welcome to Bonus Features with Alex and Robert. I'm Alex.
And I'm Robert.
And we're going to talk about movies and stuff today. But before we do, it's time for our 2-minute pointless interlude of sports. So, starting off, we've got the baddest motherfucker on the planet belt on the line. As of this recording, that will be tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So as of the time this is out...
We will know who...
Yeah, it will be decided between Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I got Nate Diaz.
Okay.
He's looked good in his return. Beat Anthony Pettis.
Mm-hmm.
Jorge Masvidal, obviously no slouch either.
Yeah.
As the title, as this unofficial title would, imply.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'll be... I don't know. Like, I want to say someone's getting knocked out just because that's the obvious thing to say. I have a feeling this might be a 5-round war.
That'd be satisfying.
I would love that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with Nate Diaz by a decision.
All right.
A close decision.
We will keep on track with that. Hopefully we'll see if you were right.
Yeah, and then also they're finally doing the other welterweight fight, which of course is for the title,
mm-hmm.
not the funny title, or the funny name title rather. We got Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington.
Mm-hmm.
I know they've got some issues to sort out, and they'll get to do it in the octagon. That should be a good one.
Sure.
I'm gonna go with Kamaru Usman on that one.
Okay.
I think that'll also probably be pretty close.
Yeah, I hope you're right.
Yeah. What do you got for baseball? Because it's your favorite.
We had ourselves a World Series.
How about those Capital or whatever the fuck they are? The
Expos.
Other something.
The Nationals, man.
Nationals. I instinctively keep calling them the Capitals because it's something to do with DC.
Last year the Red Sox won. Whatever. The year before the Astros won. Hurricane Harvey. Whatever. Like that was okay. Year before that. Cubs won, obviously amazing.
Right.
Year before that, the Royals beat the Mets, and I was happy about that because the Mets beat the shit out of the Cubs, and I wanted to see them lose. Yeah. This is the first time in a while I've actually been genuinely happy to see a team that isn't the Cubs win a World Series.
I was too, because was this their first? Well, it was the first as the Nationals, and then they had won a long time ago as the whatever the hell they used to be.
Yeah.
What the fuck were they? The Washington.
Oh yeah, it was. God, hold on, I gotta look this shit up now. Washington team. What was from the 1920s, right?
It's like the Washington Goggle Cleaners or some shit like that.
Oh fuck, what were they called?
The Washington Biplanes.
Senators, right?
Senators. Yeah. So
yeah.
Point is, it'd been
the Nationals. They won.
Yeah, this is their first time they won,
and there's so much historical shit behind it too.
Yeah,
obviously they never won, but of course it's the first year they don't have Bryce Harper. That is hilarious.
Yeah,
and I love Bryce Harper, but that cannot be more hilarious. And this is the first time ever in professional sports of any kind that the away team has won every game of a 7-game series.
That was pretty crazy.
Fucking weird.
No satisfied fans.
No
hometown satisfied fans.
Right.
Talk about living and dying by the long ball. My God. Mm-hmm. This is just home run city every game.
They juiced the ball.
Yeah.
They did, man. But yeah, no, I liked it because I don't hate the Astros, but fuck, they already won 2 years ago, and everyone's talking about how they're this genetically modified team, they're literally built to win and bred to win. Fuck, man, the Nationals were 19-34 at one point this year.
Yeah,
it's good to see just a team that's it was on the brink of death to come back and really just carry a hot streak, a September hot streak, into the postseason and win with a couple of objectively amazing players, a bunch of utility guys, and good old fashioned intangibles and grit. That's good shit. That's what baseball's all about. So it was a good story.
Yeah. See, those are things you can't make up dumbass stats for.
Right.
Okay, but bro, what about the LHPs, bro? What about some LHPs, and you gotta have some cutters and some sliders, bro.
But bro, Alex Bregman's weighted runs created plus is in the. That's an actual stat.
Oh yeah, well, what's his ERA when while farting out Taco Bell on Tuesday, bro?
In the postseason.
Yeah, in postseason, bro. Of course. What do you think I meant farting out Taco Bell Tuesday during the season? No, bro. No.
Right.
But Verlander's ERA, bro.
Oh man.
No, I hate that shit so much.
Mm-hmm.
I like being like this. I liked it when the team won because they had more runs.
Well, that was what happened this year because the Nationals were on nobody's list to go into the postseason, especially earlier in the year.
You know what's
and
crazy?
They defied the odds.
Most of these games were blowouts.
Yeah.
Or like at least
by the eighth,
at least 3 or 4 run.
By the eighth inning, you were like, "This is over."
Yeah,
at least for most of them.
It was still pretty. It was pretty exciting to watch. I mean, this is the most World Series I think I've watched in a while.
It was good.
Yeah, it's good times. You know, it's not good times watching the Bears and the Blackhawks. I don't even want to.
Oh, you're right.
You know,
right.
I'm not even gonna get into it. They both suck.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a terrible time. You know what? All of a sudden, a lot of the time that I usually spend watching Bears and Blackhawks, that time might be more available now.
Yeah,
they're both having those kinds of seasons.
Mm-hmm. They gotta do some shit, man. Especially the Bears because they are, obviously the football season is exponentially shorter than the hockey season, so They gotta fucking figure it out. I mean, it's already probably over for them.
Yeah, I see. It's one of those things where I see where this is going.
Yeah, I see this ending poorly. I don't see, and this is weird. Like. I'm jumping on the Mitch is a bad quarterback train with you. Which I know last year I was high on him and I will defend myself because he was trending in the right direction. The guy had the 3rd best quarterback rating in the NFL behind fucking Drew Brees and Pat Mahomes.
But bro, Verlander's ERA
after eating Jack in the Box and shitting out green shit. No, but like he looked like he was trending in the right direction. This year, it's just not fucking working, and we need to figure it out. Happening. I don't want to waste this Khalil Mack trade. We can't.
Ooh, that's a good point.
God, but yeah.
Well, as I said, I have nothing to say because I'm just I got nothing. Fuck, watching the Bears and the Blackhawks is painful right now.
The Bulls have been really, really bad for a long time, so them being 2-4 is like okay.
Yeah.
We got Kobe White, who's like fresh, like young talent and can fucking ball. Like, it's good to see him play.
Yeah.
I'm even trying to just watch other football, and I'm like, it's not really. Fucking Patriots are gonna win. Like, come on. Like, let's fucking stop kidding ourselves.
It's slightly turning into the NBA.
A little bit.
Ever so slightly.
Yeah.
There's like 3 or 4 teams that matter, and then the rest don't have a chance. But that's what's fun about playoffs. Single elimination, anything can happen.
That's true, but I right now I don't know. Like a lot of people.
I think what I'm trying to say is that the Browns are going all the way.
Oh man.
If only.
If only. I
had high hopes for them at the start of the season, but it's not panning out.
Dude, they're like my new Washington Nationals. It's like before, it's just like they're gonna find a way to fuck it up.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're ever gonna get there. Poor Baker.
Yeah. So, unless you've got any pressing matters in synchronized diving.
Synchronized diving?
That's a thing, dude. It's in the Olympics.
I know synchronized swimming.
No, this is a real thing. This is not like some bullshit I'm making up.
Okay.
They dive and they do the backflips and the pike and the turn and all that shit.
At the same time?
Yes.
On like 3 different diving boards?
No, just 2 people.
2 people on one diving board?
No, what? No.
Do they like hug and fall at the same time?
No, they're on 2 different diving boards. They just have to be. Okay. It's judged by how hard is the trick,
And they have to do the same trick.
It's not synchronized.
Oh.
Oh no, it's synchronized, but that's kind of up to interpret. No, they do it at the same time. It's how in sync are they?
I don't know why I'm making this so complicated. It seems pretty simple.
Well, Robert, it's like this. They do a synchronized time.
I'm just overcomplicating all of these because like every sport we've had up until now is like there's a fucking horse with like a cart.
Yeah. No,
and, like,
this is
foot tennis game.
One diver per board.
Yeah.
Both go at the same time. They have to be, how in sync are they and how hard is the trick? That's how it's judged.
It's the same pool.
I'm
just fucking kidding. Okay.
Yes.
It's not. Is it in the same building?
No, they're gonna change the rules so it can be via Skype.
Yeah, one's on the eastern seaboard and the other's.
One didn't get their visa turned in on time to make it to the Olympics.
Oh man!
Can you imagine that? Yo, I'm not gonna make it. What do you mean? This is the Olympics. Yeah, dude, I totally forgot to send him in.
It's like the guy on Seinfeld that oversleeps for the fucking marathon.
Yeah, all right. Oh, right. We're going to movies.
This is a movie news podcast.
Yes.
Well, all right, so moving on to our first story in the news segment, we have a Batman casting update. Zoe Kravitz has been cast as Catwoman, aka Selena Kyle. Jeffrey Wright has been cast as Commissioner Gordon, and Paul Dano has been cast as Edward Nashton, aka the Riddler. So some of you at home might be saying, wait, I thought his name was Edward Nygma, like in the Batman Forever movie. Well, some of the comics...
And in the animated series?
Yes, in the comics.
In the comics?
And in pretty much most
everything,
iteration.
Yeah.
So it depends on who you ask.
Whatever.
Like some versions it's always Edward Nygma, some versions it's Edward Nashton, then Edward Nygma, whatever. He's going to be the Riddler.
Near here, nor there. The point is he is the Riddler.
Mm-hmm.
So these casting updates. So let's go down the list.
Gut reactions.
Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. What do you got?
Okay. Like I haven't seen nearly enough of her work as an as like a full-blown lead to really make a choice. Like I've seen her in things. Like she's in X-Men First Class, she's in Mad Max Fury Road. She's been in like
neither of those were really impressive roles
at all. Like she hasn't really had a role like this in a movie like this. So I don't really know what to think. I'm not really worried because she's been in some good things I've never seen. From what I've heard, like she's been good in some shows, a couple movies here and there that are rather indie. But I don't know. That's not the one I'm most excited about.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of lukewarm to this. Mm-hmm. Mostly, it's the same thing where I haven't really seen her. In the things I've seen her in, she's been fine.
Right.
Not really impressive. I think the only thing that bugs me about this is the short list that they had. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of... They had Vanessa Kirby on there.
Yeah.
They had a couple others. Didn't they have Gugu Mbatha Raw?
Like Gugu Mbatha Raw, and I think even Tessa Thompson was on there, which is like... I've seen her play a role like that before. Like she was fucking Valkyrie. You know, like she's been in movies where she's had to be the badass female lead.
Oh, that's her favorite.
Yeah, I know. I should have known. But like to be the female lead that is a counterpart to the male lead in an action movie, so to speak. We've seen her do that, and that would be like that'd be a choice where I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, that's one where you kind of think, yeah, I get it.
Whereas like with Zoe Kravitz, like the last thing that she was in that was like the female-ish lead in an action-ish movie was like she was in like the last Fantastic Beasts movie, which I heard was not very good. Not because of her, but like again that's like the sample size we have to go off of. I don't know what to think about it. I'm not worried, but like I don't know. It depends on how prominent Catwoman is in the story, what the take is. It depends on a lot of shit.
I'm sure it'll be fine because this is kind of one of those things where I think it's similar to a lot of characters. Like even Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. That wasn't my first choice, but it turned out fine.
Sure.
That's kind of where I'm at. It's one of those things where you think, yeah, fuck, that was a pretty good short list. Would have rathered some of these other people, but
yeah,
who the hell cares? I'm sure it'll be fine. Who else we got?
Jeffrey Wright as Gordon.
I dig it.
I dig it too.
Because I really like him as Felix Leiter.
He's great.
He just exudes Felix Leiter, CIA.
Yeah.
Just imagine that same like charisma. Jim Gordon, police commissioner of Gotham.
I love him in Casino Royale. Hey, buddy, I'm your buddy from Langley. Like,
Yeah.
it's great. Like,
I really dig that choice.
he's got a great voice too, like gravelly, like, I can't take this shit anymore voice. Like, I've been in the job too long.
I guess what's his name is gone.
J.K. Simmons. Yeah.
I almost call him J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, she really wanted to be Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, she did.
She didn't have the acting resume.
No. But no, I like J.K. Simmons. I love J.K. Simmons on paper as Jim Gordon, but fucking, what did we get? Like, what was the net outcome? 2 scenes?
He was barely in it, and he wasn't really given much to do.
To think he got into, like, really good shape and, like, shredded himself and shit. Or
yeah, what was that all about?
I don't know. Give us a Snyder cut.
There is no... Fuck the Snyder cut. If the movie wasn't that good, a Snyder cut's not going to make it better, magically. Right. Jesus Christ. There. Done with that discussion forever.
But no, I feel... I definitely am on board with Jeffrey Wright as the Riddler. The Riddler. Yeah, Jim Gordon.
So,
moving on to the Riddler.
Yeah, so Paul Dano. I'm kind of on the fence about this because he reminds me of the 0 Year Riddler. Okay. Which I guess I'm probably in the minority on this. I thought that comic was super fucking boring.
Okay, then I get why you're on the fence. I think of him as...
But to be fair, that what I thought was boring about the comic had nothing to do with... It wasn't exactly the Riddler as a character that was a problem. It was the way... It was just the premise was boring. Because it's just... Let's have the city get shut down, because... he's taken over the power grid, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. But they have everything centralized to one location where people just challenge him and ask him riddles. It was kind of boring.
Yeah.
So the problem wasn't the Riddler himself. So I don't know. My worry is if they're using that as a source point.
No, I think...
But that's, of course, completely speculative.
Yeah, I have no idea at this point. But for this one, this is the casting choice I actually like the most. And this is pure gut reaction. I'm not saying it's going to pan out, but, like, just on look alone, like, yeah, like, he's a pretty Riddler-looking guy. Like, dark hair, like, no chin, like, spinally, like...
Kind of smarmy.
Smarmy, like, awkward.
Yeah.
Like, gangly, like... I think he at the very least, like, looks the part. And from the movies I've seen him in, like, he's pretty... What's the word? He's very, like, Edward Norton-y in that he's, like...
Oh, he can kind of do everything.
He can be, like, a villain. He can be, like, the side character guy. He can be the straight man. Like, he's got he's great talent. I like the choice. I don't know how I would have felt about the rumor that, like, Jonah Hill was going to be the Riddler. That would have been a weird pull.
I would not have dug that at all.
This was a much better choice in the back pocket of Matt Reeves and Warner Brothers, I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of halvesies on this, but I think this will probably work. That'd be my guess.
I'm hoping so, too, and hopefully we'll get even more casting news here in the next few weeks.
True. We still need Penguin and some others.
Penguin, Two-Face, I hear, is involved. Yeah. Firefly, I think, is rumored.
Yeah, so the point is, this is pretty exciting, I guess. I don't know. I'm sort of...
Let's film this goddamn movie. I want to see set photos, motherfuckers.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because Batman, for whatever reason... I guess if you've got a good version of it, I'm willing to hear you out, even if it's the 5th one.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those rare things where I'm willing to hear you out this many times in. So I'm with you. We're going to have to learn a little more, though, before I'm really interested, because DC as a whole, still, it's been kind of half and half.
It's been very inconsistent. Sometimes in a good way, as we've seen this year. But sometimes it's just like, I don't know what the hell's coming next.
Do you think Birds of Prey is going to have any effect on this in terms of story or whatever, or no? Oh, no, this is a prequel or whatever the hell.
Well, I was going to say look more towards Joker, not just in terms of like whether or not this has anything to do with Joker in terms of story, but like I would say tone.
No way is this going to happen.
I mean, it's not going to be the same, but I would say it would be closer in line to that than Shazam.
Right, I figured that much. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
As we always say.
Yeah. So that'll do it for the Batman casting news. We've also got some casting news for the G.I. Joe spinoff Snake Eyes. So we've got Samara Weaving as Scarlet, Henry Golding as the titular Snake Eyes, Andrew Koji as Storm Shadow, Iko Uwais as Hardmaster, Ursula Corbero as Baroness. So I know so I know Samara Weaving, obviously, Henry Golding, and Iko Uwais. So one thing I'm confused at, Iko Uwais' character, this guy looks like 90 in all the pictures.
Wait a minute. But that's not the name? The name doesn't weird you out a little?
Oh, yeah, the name Hardmaster.
What a weirdly, vague name. What do you mean hard in what? Hard how?
I think it's because he's ripped compared to the other character who I looked up, who's called Softmaster. He's a big fat guy.
There's hard and soft. What is this? What is there, a just right master? What is this, fucking Goldilocks?
G.I. Joe is very weird characters.
Yeah, we were researching this, and it's just who the fuck is that?
There's
what?
So many of them.
And if you think the names get stop at Hardmaster for being weird, there's a character named Snow Job. So
I'm waiting for them to cast that. Andy Dick as Snow Job.
Oh. And Andy, oh my God.
Let's go skiing.
And Dick Job is Snow Andy.
Oh my God. So, yeah, that's one thing I'm confused about is his character's 90, but I guess they're going to have to make him younger, obviously, because Iko Uwais is only 33 in real life.
Unless they age him the fuck up. I think they're going to Justin Hammer it like with Iron Man 2, Sam Rockwell style.
Yeah, just make him younger just because.
But these other people.
So Samara Weaving is a good choice because, I mean, even though I haven't really liked any of the movies she's been in, she's never been the problem.
No, she was quite good in Ready or Not, which I wasn't really a big fan of.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it at all, but she was quite good in that. That was the exact same reaction I had with Babysitter, which is a much shittier movie. But really? I thought one of the only good things about it was her performance and the other lead kid. Those were the only people I thought were any good in it.
Not Bella Thorne?
No, she was horrible. She was the absolute worst part of that movie.
I expected so.
Well, besides the plot, the editing, and the writing.
And the directing.
And all the fucking title shit jumping on the screen, the graphics. There's a part where he sees them killing someone, and it just, oh shit, comes across the screen. Really? You need that as if I can fucking figure this out?
It's a Netflix movie, Alex.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but other casting, Iko Uwais, I like his inclusion in this.
Yeah.
Ursula Corbero, I don't know who that is.
Henry Golding, I haven't seen him in anything good.
I feel like I'm not giving him a fair shake because the things I've seen him in are not very good at all. If that, some of them are pretty bad. So I'll give him a shot, but I'm not oh man, Henry Golding is Snake Eyes, hell yeah! I haven't seen anything from him that's made me very excited, but I don't think I blame him.
Yeah, why can't you make Iko Uwais Snake Eyes, huh?
Yeah, what the hell?
What the fuck?
I mean,
that'd make a lot more sense.
I get that he's not the best actor, but Snake Eyes isn't supposed to talk.
Yeah, true.
So what the fuck? You could cast any stunt person as Snake Eyes.
So they fucked up.
Is this gonna be the movie where you find out why Snake Eyes didn't talk?
Oh God. Yeah, but G.I. Joe in general. So we just watched the 2 trailers before this recording, and I don't remember anything about either one of these, but I know I've seen one of them.
I took a trip down memory lane. I saw the first one, G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, in 2000. See, I fucking forgot when it was. 9?
9, I think.
I saw it in theaters. It was not good. Not horrible, but it's not very good.
So I'm wondering if this is... the casting would make you assume it's a complete reboot.
Yeah, because there's 2 characters in here already that are... Well, 3 characters, really, that are for sure going to be recast. Storm Shadow, Baroness, and Scarlet. Snake Eyes doesn't count because Ray Park was wearing a mask the whole time, so fuck, it could be anybody in the reboot, but Hardmaster... Sadly, wasn't in either of the previous 2 G.I. Joes. Neither was Snow Job, so we'll maybe get some of them in this.
Well, that's what the sequels are for. Snow Job.
I want a Snow Job spinoff.
Snow Job spinoff.
How about Snow Job versus Hardmaster, Dawn of something?
Dawn of Innuendo.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a lot of untapped potential just because, I mean, what do we like making movies about? Things that sell action figures. Mm-hmm. What was G.I. Joe started for? A thing to sell action figures.
That's also
There's
something...
lots of characters they can do.
You're hearing not a lot of negativity from us in this, which is, I know, weird when it comes to spin-offs.
Yeah, because this is something...
It's like, innately like, oh, okay, it's a movie about a dude that, like, kills people with swords. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, I don't, like, really like it. Like, I don't I don't like the trend that it was born out of, but I'm not, like, gonna, like, if it looks good, I'll see it. Like, no, seriously, like, I'm not opposed to this being seen.
I think it's because they're going at it from a different angle instead of just saying, this is the whole G.I. Joe team on a mission, even though it's like most of them.
It's a different genre. It's like, oh, this might be a martial arts movie.
It's like making a Wolverine movie instead of all the X-Men.
Or like, whereas like another Hasbro thing, Bumblebee, it's like,
right.
So this is just another Transformers movie.
But, it is, I mean, but it's also not
coming of age and different, and I haven't seen it. But you know what I mean? Like,
I still think it looked terrible, but I understand why people wanted to see it.
Yeah, but even that is like, that's just a different version of Transformers. This is like, okay, it'd be like it'd be like if they made a fucking like Jim Gordon movie. It's like, oh, this is like a cop movie. You know, it's like, it's not a superhero movie anymore. It's, you know, G.I. Joe is an action movie. Snake Eyes is a martial arts movie. It's a different breed, I would imagine. Or
spy martial arts.
Spy martial arts, who knows?
They're focusing on a particular section of G.I. Joe. That's why I think this has potential. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like, I guess, I saw one of them. I saw one of these first two movies. It wasn't horrible, but
whichever
the hell one, but it was not great.
Yeah, the director that we have for the Snake Eyes movie, Robert Schrenke, I think is how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Not super inspiring, like, filmography. Like, he directed Flight Plan, which is like, it's all right. Time Traveler's Wife, haven't seen. Red solid. All right.
Okay, that's enough for me.
R.I.P.D. Not good.
Yeah.
And then Divergent Insurgent and Divergent Allegiant.
I've actually seen one of those. I can't remember which. I think I saw the first one.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought you saw the first one.
It was okay.
That's what I've heard. It's
really not that bad.
Bargain bin Hunger Games.
Yeah, it's really not that bad.
But yeah, I don't know how to feel about the director choice either. This could really, really, really go a few different ways, but hopefully it ends up good.
Yeah, well, we'll just, as we say, wait and see.
Indeed we will.
Et cetera, et cetera. Moving on to our next big story of the day. The streaming wars are now heating up. A lot of things are happening, including HBO Max. They're set to launch in May of 2020, $14.99 a month. And obviously Disney Plus is coming in just a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things happening. HBO Max has made some other big announcements. Green Lantern there's a Green Lantern live action show in development for HBO Max. Also, this is one that I thought was particularly interesting. Melissa McCarthy's new comedy that was supposed to come out in theaters this December, Superintelligence, is now going to HBO Max as well. That I found really interesting, not because I was super intrigued by that movie, but more so, is this what's going to start happening more and more? Oh no, that's a Disney Plus show now. Oh no, that's a
Apple TV Plus.
That's an Apple TV Plus. Oh yeah, they just bought the rights. It seems weird, doesn't it?
I hate the fact that these content libraries are getting so big to the point where it's like, there's going to be a sizable amount of entertainment that I'm going to have to not be able to get or even witness if I don't have these fucking apps.
Right, that's what I was thinking, is the way cable, as we've said before, if you like South Park and Always Sunny and Simpsons, those are Modern Family or whatever the fuck. Those are on all different channels.
Yeah, they're syndicated, fuck everywhere.
Yeah, but cable, there's a way to get all those different things from those different companies.
And even with movies, it's like, HBO's got fucking Avengers Endgame or some shit. It's like, 55-year-old dads that are like, I'll wait in 90 days or a year when it's on TNT or some shit, or FX or some bullshit. Like, now it's like, no, motherfucker, those aren't going to be on TV anymore. Like, you need you need to watch this on your phone or your smart TV through Apple TV Plus, through HBO Max, through Disney Plus. And it's not just movies. It's TV shows. It's everything now. Documentaries. It's all sorts of stuff. The list is staggering. Actually, as we're recording this, today's November 1st, Apple TV Plus has launched.
Yeah, that's right.
We already got reviews for like all the shows that they've got in their launch, like, which I've heard. I haven't heard really rave things about any of them.
I feel like they're wannabe A24/Neon type stuff. Mm-hmm. It just seems, I don't know. All the Apple TV stuff seems kind of fucking lame. The other thing I don't understand about the way they're doing it is they seem to be putting their front foot forward with all this new stuff. Mm-hmm. And I like the idea of, making new things, but for a content provider rather than a studio, for instance, wouldn't you rather them be talking about the library of content they have that's true and tested stuff that everyone likes?
You mean like how Disney Plus is doing it?
Yes. For instance, if you like old 90s cartoons, you are fucking set at Disney Plus because they have a ridiculous amount of shows that are coming to it that I was not fully aware of until a couple days ago. Like the sheer amount. So they've got basically every Spider-Man, X-Men, all those shows, and weirdly enough, the ones that weren't, Wolverine and the X-Men and X-Men Evolution, which was on Kids WB, so not related to Fox or Disney in any way. Mm-hmm. Somehow that's a weird rights thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
They got Goof Troop, DuckTales, Gargoyles. That's just an aside. But there's an example. The fact that I listed all those shows, we're going to have new stuff, but also this stuff, because this is this is content provider. You want to have shit that people know and are familiar with along with your new stuff.
Right.
Apple is just like, no, dude, we're so sure you're going to like all our new shitty shows, bruh. It's like, who cares what else we have?
There were some that were announced that I'm like, that's going to fucking Apple TV Plus. Like, really? The new, what the fuck's it called? Masters of the Air, which is like it's the third, so like Band of Brothers and then the Pacific, the Tom Hanks Spielberg. Yeah. So that's going to be on Apple TV Plus. Which I'm like, God damn it. Like, that, fuck.
No, I mean, this is exactly
everything's
what we're
got
talking about.
Everything's got at least one where I'm like, I want to kind of watch that one.
That's the other weird trend about this. This is a similar thing with the super intelligence. Mm-hmm. It seems kind of odd that, oh no, this is going to HBO Max now. Mm-hmm. These big stars would rather be online and stuff than be in movies and theaters.
Yeah, and there's creators who have had shows or things that have been either long out of development or just ended that are revamping things for things like HBO Max. Like we already talked about it. Or did we talk about Aaron McGruder doing the Boondocks on there? And a little bit, yeah. And then the Adventure Time, like 4-episode thing they're doing.
Yeah, on HBO I heard Max. About that.
So there's stuff like that. It's really shrewd business, sense on the part of Warner Brothers and Warner Media. But yeah, it's throwing a whole lot of wrenches into the gears here.
Well, and the other thing it's doing is it seems like it's a substitute for direct-to-video. Because that used to be a place for sequels. Mm-hmm. For instance, Hocus Pocus 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
Well, it's kind of just like what Netflix is now.
It's been 30 years, just like relish in the fun of the first one. Leave it there.
But, yeah, pretty much.
But you know what I mean? Like all the sequels that you didn't know existed, like, fucking Christmas Story 8 or whatever.
God, yeah.
All that kind of shit that what used to go direct to video. It seems like these streaming services are also, at the same time, they're like the ground zero for stuff that seems to be relevant, like really, really relevant. Mm-hmm. It also seems to be a dumping ground at the same time. It's very weird.
It's kind of like Netflix.
Yeah.
Or what Netflix is and has been. It's like you have your every now and then like, oh, this is on Netflix, cool. And then you'll have like, what the fuck movie is this? How did they get this? And it's just some rando ass like, Titanic 2 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
Truth or Dare, not the the really bad one with Brittany Snow.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's so fucking bad. Oh my! And the Penguin's in it too from
Right.
Gotham.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of that on there, and I feel like that may be what these are. They might be fooling some people on some of these content things.
Yeah, so in these streaming wars, who's going to come out on top?
Oh, Disney.
Yeah.
Like, without a shred of doubt, and I'm not happy saying that because
Well,
I hate to see them, who already own so many things and are already just defying the odds in so many ways, totally corner a whole new market. That just blows.
I think HBO Max will at least be a good competitor.
I agree.
I don't think so much with... I don't have a lot of faith in Apple, if I'm just being honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's kind of weird that they launched first, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, really quick. Like, today.
But isn't one of their big things that it's replacing iTunes and whatever, so...
Yeah, it's all being consolidated or whatever.
Yeah, so it's not really necessarily that... That's what, like, Apple's thing is kind of confusing, because they're saying, we're not just a streaming service, we're also your home for whatever your downloads and all that shit, so... They're not really making it clear what they are.
Right.
I mean, they are, but it's a little convoluted is all.
It sure is.
Yeah. And I guess the other point I was going to bring up was that DC Universe has got to fold into HBO Max with the way things are going.
That's what it's starting to seem like, because I guess Season 2 of Doom Patrol is not only going to be on DC Universe, but also on HBO Max.
Right.
And there's going to be DC shit on here, like DC's Strange Adventures, DC Superhero High, the Green Lantern show from Greg Berlanti.
Right, and this brings up the point I've been saying all along about DC Universe.
You should have done this first.
Right. Why the hell would you make a thing just for DC? But we've got digital comics. No. Your main thing you're selling this as is a streaming service.
Yeah.
Don't try and sweeten the deal with this bullshit about digital comics. Mm-hmm. So, and also with this Doom Patrol thing, that just kind of seems like, all right, we've already got one foot in the door. Let's just close this chapter on DC Universe.
Yeah, it was make it a hub, kind of copy the same structure that Disney's going with.
Right.
Just make a DC hub.
That makes a lot more sense. Mm-hmm. Streaming wars are getting crazy.
It's getting hot. Hopefully, by the time the next episode's out, we'll have a good idea of how Disney Plus has been running, right?
Yeah.
Because it opens before the end of the month.
Right. Yeah, basically, though, I think HBO Max is going to be the biggest competitor.
I think you're right.
I think you're right. I don't know if they're going to come out on top, since I guess there's a winner.
They have the benefit of having Apple TV Plus and Disney Plus to look at. Because when does HBO Max come out next year?
It's in May.
May. So they'll have had almost 6 months, or more than 6 months worth of seeing how Apple TV Plus and Disney Plus do to kind of modify or change or
it's almost
add on to whatever they have already.
Right. It's almost like they should have had that same mindset. No. Let's just put this DC thing out there.
We can't wait.
No, we can't. It's got to happen now.
It has to be out now.
Yeah. It just makes so much more sense to pay for DC stuff and other things. Mm-hmm. So,
makes sense.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, though, what with movies coming out to streaming services instead of theaters.
Yeah.
And shows getting developed that, as you said, we seem to be long gone. And the vast libraries of old things that are really not shown in reruns anywhere. Yeah. So
the trends are growing stronger. They're not fading away.
Yeah. I'm wondering how this is going to blow up in everyone's faces, though, when they realize eventually they're going to have to mix up the channels.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. Cable's just going to have to figure something out.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have a resurgence.
Yeah, we'll find out. Because that's what I'm waiting for, is everyone to realize this is stupid. This costs just as much as cable if you want to have everything you like. Mm-hmm. Especially if you like sports. And then you really still, I think for the most part, you probably still need cable in most ways.
Yeah.
Because the sports packages are always shitty on these streaming services.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So streaming wars are heating up. That's that. I got nothing else to say. Fuck.
Yep, it's one of those.
Yeah, I'm not super excited about how things are going.
Yeah,
God damn it, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't tempting.
Especially with those
Gargoyles
fucking
and Goof Troop.
And
God damn.
Dude, Chippendales.
Yeah.
Oh man, well.
Yeah.
Moving on to our next story. We have a new project from director Robert Eggers, who you, of course, you playing at home, may remember as being the director and writer of The Witch and the director and writer of the forthcoming Lighthouse film.
Which is out now.
It is out now.
And one of the two of us already saw it.
Yes. See if you can guess who.
Yeah. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. So Robert Eggers and Alexander Skarsgård are going to be teaming for a new Viking saga revenge film called The Northman. This is going to be, again, starring Alexander Skarsgård, who is allegedly playing a prince who seeks revenge for the death of his father. The movie is also going to be starring, for the most likely, some of these people are still circling the roles, but from what we understand, Bill Skarsgård, Alexander Skarsgård's brother, Willem Dafoe, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Nicole Kidman.
All right. So, let me put it this way. I'm not going to let The Lighthouse deter me from this movie. Because The Witch, unlike some other movies, The Witch was fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. So I'm willing to give this guy another go. Plus, I like that this guy is choosing things that there's not a ton of focus on or movies about. There's a lot of, for instance, The Witch trail. There's a few of them. Mm-hmm. There's a few horror movies or whatever, but that was really rooted in like being with the time and all that.
He's very, and I can only speak to seeing The Witch. I have not, spoilers, I'm not the one that saw The Lighthouse yet.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, and I liked The Witch. I didn't like it as much as you did.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great.
I thought it was for sure a solid debut, and I was super on board with seeing more of the dude's work, and still am. I like how he is very, very set in like telling a story about a very specific time and place.
Yeah.
And I think this is another one of those, and this is probably the best cast he's worked with yet, if it pans out to being this. I mean, The Witch had Anya Taylor-Joy and like two other actors that are really semi-ish. I mean, the guy from Hurricane Heist, and I can't think of it. Kate Dickie, I think, is the other woman's name, but they're not household names. Whereas, like, these are four, for the most part, household names. Or five, right? Bill Skarsgård, Alexander Skarsgård, Willem Dafoe, Nicole Kidman, and Anya Taylor-Joy is probably not a household name, but I fucking know who she is.
Kind of is, though.
If you said, like, the girl from The Witch or the girl from Split or whatever, like, oh, okay, I kind of know her.
And Thoroughbreds. How dare you?
Yes.
Movie's so good.
I still got to see that.
Yeah.
But this looks really, really good on paper.
Right. Well, you know what? I would imagine this is going to be more like The Witch than The Lighthouse.
Sure.
So for that reason, I'm on board so far. Mm-hmm. All right. So that'll do it. Looking forward to that. The Northman. We'll keep an eye out for more news on that. All right, moving on to our next story. Unfortunate news. John Witherspoon, the voice of Granddad on the Boondocks, has passed away. So just rest in peace.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Real funny dude. And he was also Ice Cube's dad in Friday.
But mostly he'll always be Granddad to me.
Yeah. And he was on Black Jesus.
Right. So plain. Lots of classic Granddad moments.
Oh, yeah. So rest in peace, sir.
Yeah. So that's that. So moving on to our next story. David Benioff and D.B. Weiss Star Wars trilogy has been canceled. Wow. Wait, again with the...
I'm real surprised.
Yeah, what a shock. It's almost like the 15th time they put the cart before the horse and it just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is not a shocker. If you count casualties of Star Wars film or filmmakers that have come to Disney with an idea or something and have walked away empty-handed, or that have had both parties walk away empty-handed, it's quite a few. This is like the third or fourth time.
Yeah.
If you're talking Disney in general, that includes Marvel and Star Wars and everything, over the past few years. It's a staggering amount of people who have walked away from this company and said, no, I don't want to fucking do this because this is just not going to work. And that's included anything from Edgar Wright saying, fucking I'm not doing Ant-Man because you guys aren't letting me do what I want, to Joss Whedon getting his movie made in the form of Age of Ultron, but not having it end up the way that he, quote, wanted it to, or whatever the fuck. And sometimes it's worked out or not worked out in the form of fucking, what are the two guys? Oh, God.
Phil Lord
and Chris Miller being fired in the middle of a goddamn movie and being replaced. It's just, I would say it's a shit show, but, like, it's kind of not. That's what's so not weird working for them.
Well, this is what I keep saying is a lot of these movies where, you know, there's a decent amount of people who think they're shitty, but it's like, obviously I must, like, in some objective form, I'm wrong about that because they make $1 billion.
Well, the only case I would say shows, like, okay, yeah, that was not, something went wrong is Solo. Like, that severely underperformed and was a kind of a disaster for Disney. But
again, because that did so poorly, they canceled all these other projects because of it.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? This didn't work.
No more Boba Fett. No one gets Boba Fett.
No one gets Boba Fett. No more Jabba the Hutt movie. No more this. No more that annoying, screechy, laughing guy on Jabba the Hutt's shoulder.
No more Gonk Droid movie.
Yeah. That's what I mean. They just went crazy with that. We got to have all these things. And then when it didn't work, no, we got to pull the plug on all these things. Mm-hmm. Here's my favorite part of this. They left because they're busy working on their Netflix show. What fucking universe do we live in? No, sorry, I don't want to make a Star Wars movie because we're busy with the Netflix show.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to go into some of the creative decisions,
the times.
I mean, the creative decisions of David Benioff and D.B. Weiss as of late, and I'm not even a Game of Thrones fan, have been very odd because they had the opportunity to make the final season of Game of Thrones very long and very drawn out, and therefore a lot more profitable. But they chose to make it short, and thus, in many fans' opinions, rushed. Yeah. So they're kind of weird guys in general, and just in terms of just making creative decisions in the past year. But this one I don't blame them for because maybe the grass isn't greener over there.
All is not well in Jockey Town. Yeah. The renegade horse is making us frown.
Right. No, it's well, no, that's it. No more Jedi Origin movie, allegedly.
Yeah. Well, this is. I'm just saying the way they. I think the main theme here is they keep making all these plans and then making all these super plans. Mm-hmm. And then one of these little things doesn't work. And they're like, fuck it. It's all coming tumbling down. We got to restart this whole thing. How about just one thing at a fucking time? Hey, maybe have a general overarching plan, but don't be. It seems like it must be too specific. All right, we're going to give you a trilogy. We haven't even started, but I feel like we should give you guys 3 of these. Like, doesn't that sound fucking ridiculous?
This is kind of like this kind of reminds me of like what DC was doing, or what Warner Brothers was doing with like, they had like 18 different movies in development.
Yeah.
But like, instead here, like, whereas DC and Warner Brothers like didn't ever update us again and just let them fade away, these ones are just like, nope, we don't want these guys anymore. We don't want you anymore either. You know what? And like these other creators, like, no, we don't want to fucking do business with you, Disney. And like, I don't know. Yeah. A lot of stuff's been announced. A lot of stuff hasn't been delivered.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder how 9's going to do, speaking of which.
We'll have to wait a couple weeks. Yeah. I wasn't going to say wait and see.
I might as well just announce it here. I'm probably going to bitch out and see it.
That's okay.
Because I have AMC stubs. I thought about it.
You should see 3 or 4 movies that month so that it's even cheaper for you. Or like, you know, like less of your money goes to fucking Star Wars.
I looked it up, though. There's some weird thing. It's like every time you click on a movie, it's like $6.
Oh.
I guess AMC fronts it somehow. Part of it. I don't fucking understand how it works. But you know what?
It's working for you.
It works for me, and it's not MoviePass. So
there you go.
It's a legitimate company saying you can see 3 movies a week, so fuck it.
Are you through all the stages of grief with MoviePass, or
MoviePass? Yeah. I'm gonna miss them as a punching bag.
Me as well.
But see, that's the thing is I knew not to do that plan.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you playing at home, if you like going to the movies, AMC Stubs A-List is definitely worth it.
This is not sponsored.
This is not sponsored. We're just pandering to their interests anyway. No, but I'm just saying it is kind of ridiculous. I mean, I'm never going to need to see 12 movies in a month.
Yeah.
That would require them to make 12 movies worth viewing
a month.
Within a month. Yeah. That are showing at that chain, too. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing. But AMC's been getting better about that. They're showing a lot of smaller stuff, bigger stuff, all kinds of shit. Okay, what the fuck?
Star Wars.
Star Wars shit's happening. I'm gonna puss out and probably see 9.
Yeah,
we'll probably review it too.
It's possible.
Yeah,
might have to go to war. Probably not. We didn't really with. Did we review? No, we didn't review.
No, we didn't review Last Jedi, but I thought it was shitty, but like not the worst movie I've ever seen. Shitty. Fuck it. I'll just go for the lasers and explosions. At least entertain me in that part.
And the laser swords.
Right. Laser swords.
And the droids.
Yeah, and then, let's be real. They're definitely going to have, all the Force ghosts come back in the end.
They should make a Voltron. They should all form into a Voltron Force ghost.
You and what are... It's like, you can't stop me, I'm the Emperor.
It's just the Return of the King.
You and what army? This army. And then it's like...
Aragorn with the ghost army shows up.
Well, it's going to be that, but with, Yoda, Leia, Luke, and... Harrison Ford's like, fuck it, I told you I was done. It's like everyone except Han Solo for some weird reason.
Anakin's gonna show up and see the Emperor and be like, dude, what the fuck? I threw you in a goddamn pit.
Yeah, have fun explaining how he came back from exploding in the Death Star and getting thrown down a pit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's too powerful, I don't know.
Well, the Force made a Force bubble and he lived in the Force bubble. I don't fucking know.
Didn't you listen in episode 3 when he said unlimited power?
Sure. But he was also a liar, so there's that.
That's true.
Oh my god. You know what? I'm really not looking forward to 9, but it's a saga, right? Mm-hmm. So I have to finish the proverbial season of this TV show, yeah?
True that.
I gotta watch the quote-unquote last episode. So I guess I'll just see that. Fuck it. Alright, yeah, I give up. Anyway, moving on to the mini speed round. Mini speed round. That radtacular sound effect was brought to you by Radtacular Sound Effects. It'll make your sound effects radtacular. Anyway, mini speed round. We've got Ant-Man 3. Who cares?
Yeah. Okay. Same here.
Yeah. Got a Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2. I'm down.
Me too.
Coming out in 2022.
I can wait.
Okay, same. All right, that's it. Mini speed round. News is over.
Now we move on to the review portion of our podcast, where we start off with a review of The Wild Goose Lake, a film we saw at this year's Chicago International Film Festival. And
we thought we'd cover the SIFF thing because no one else does.
So this is a movie directed by Diao Yinan. Am I pronouncing that right or no?
How the hell should I know?
And this was a movie that was selected to compete for the Palme d'Or this year, and it's a Chinese film, Chinese crime drama, about Zhu Zhenong, who is a gentleman, not really, he's a gangster, who has been wronged and has made some mistakes and has to, I don't know how to describe it, has to right them, has to make the things that are going wrong in his life right. Basically, he's being wanted.
He has to reconcile with his past.
Yes, his family, the police, some shit's gone down. And
right.
What'd you think of this movie?
Well, if I'm being honest, I thought it was okay. And I say that because I really wanted to like this, especially as my initial reaction leaving the theater. I was like, it was pretty good. But then the more I thought about it, I thought, you know what? It had some problems. And I think you'd agree with me on this because we talked a little after we got out of our showing. The problem is that the second act is the weakest point of the movie, and the first act and the third act are really strong. And I think a lot of that kind of plays out in a way where the first act promises you a different movie than what you get. And I don't mean that in a flattering way.
Yeah.
Because I guess we'll keep it non-spoiler for now. It essentially gives you a pretty straightforward plot. Like, this is what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. You know, you have the gangsters, there's a dispute, and they say, here's how we're going to settle the dispute. And you think, oh, this is the movie. And I thought, oh, this is kind of cool. I didn't think that's what this was about at all. Mm-hmm. But then it turns out, no, it's not about this dispute or this method in which the dispute is solved. It's about that one guy. What's his name again?
Oh, Zhao Zhenong?
Yeah, it's all about Zhao Zhenong's story. Mm-hmm. It's not about the... I guess I'll leave it at this, and I guess this doesn't give too much away. It's not about the contest that is declared.
Yeah.
It's not about that at all, really. It starts off as that, and that's really a ruse because it's all about Zhao Zhenong.
I compared this when we got out of the theater to Ridley Scott's 2009 Robin Hood, I think.
Yeah.
Or 2010 Robin Hood, excuse me. That movie had a similar issue in that the first act was really, really great.
Yeah.
And the third act was really solid, but the middle portion was so meanderingly, not pointless, but just directionless. Like, where are we going with this? What is the point of this scene? Why is this scene here? Why did we have this? Why are we losing direction at this point in the story?
Right.
I thought the main tension was this. What the hell? Because like you said, the beginning is so straightforward. You're like, oh, okay, I know exactly what's going on. I really love this world. I like the way this movie looks. I like the tone.
Right.
It's like sporadically violent, which is really dope. There's like a great scene where like
the fight scene
beating the shit out of people with a U-lock, and I'm like, whoa, is this a martial arts movie? Like, what's going on here?
That was another thing. I thought, if you're going to start a movie, that was not just a regular gritty crime thriller fight scene where you think, oh, okay.
It was like Old Boy. It was like the fucking hammer fight scene almost,
this
but
is
for
like
10 seconds.
Exactly. This is a full-blown martial arts scene, and I feel like having that so early in the movie...
It sets a tone.
It felt... Yeah, exactly. I thought, oh, so this is going to be throughout the movie then, right? Mm-hmm. Not the case. In the second act, there's sporadic, little tiny gunfights and like some people getting beaten up, but not like that. That was very action movie-esque, and it was kind of a matter of the second act, it was a different genre. And that came from focusing on Zhao Zhenong.
Yeah.
Zhao Zhenong's story. And that's what you were saying. I agree with you about the main plot thread kind of gets lost in the middle. There's a few too many characters. Then on top of that, there's without giving too much away, there's twins. And I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm really confused now. I'm like, isn't that guy, didn't he do this? It's like, what? There's two of them now? What the fuck?
Without super spoiling anything right now, the second act is basically like a not as good, and I mean really, really, really not as good version of The Fugitive second act, where it's like, we gotta go and find him here. Here he is. He's right here. And then he somehow eludes the police and is like, we didn't find him. We gotta go to the next place. Guy goes to the next place. We found him. He's over here. Quick, let's get in the cars and let's go there.
Yeah.
They go there and he's not there. There's like a couple scenes in between where it's like side characters are escorting certain characters around, and it's like fine, but at a certain point you're like, Jesus Christ, this is taking a minute.
Yeah.
Like let's speed this up, guys. And it's just the pacing really slows in the second act. The structure, or the direction of the story really kind of gets cloudy in the second act.
That's the other thing. I thought, okay, here was a weird thing too. The second you realize, it's not this dispute settlement. It's not about that. It's just, it is still kind of, but it's not about
It's more than that.
The second you realize this is Zhao Zhenong's story, even still, that gets lost in the middle. You're like, it's his story. Now, what the hell is he doing?
Yeah, there's his wife, and there's a what is it, Bathing Beauty?
The prostitutes.
Yeah, she's a prostitute, and then there's the cops, and there's a bunch of stuff going on, and I understand they're trying to build the world, but I really, really thought that focusing on the side characters and ignoring the sort of the way this movie starts is from his perspective, Zhao Zhenong. And
right.
I think that really gets lost, and the movie loses steam as a result because of it.
Right. And not nearly enough Boney M.
Nowhere near. I mean, it's in the movie diegetically, we might add, meaning it's played in the movie for the characters to hear.
Right.
And it's a fun scene. And again, like, it actually makes for a really cool visual
That was
moment.
actually, I thought, one of the only really great scenes in the second act.
Yeah, but even then I was like, there's a lot of downtime in there where I'm like, you could have cut this down to being a 3 minute or like 4 minute scene.
Not only that, things get a little confusing because you thought
The blocking.
Well,
like that character was there? Oh.
Yeah, but not even the little things like that. I'm talking more the plot elements, because you're wondering, like, why the hell is she there? What is she?
Who's helping who?
Yeah, who's helping who?
Is that guy a bad guy?
Who's using what? Who's using you? You can't be a pimp or a prostitute too, as Jack White might say.
Yeah.
Whatever. That was. I was just listening to that song, Icky Thump. Anyway, no, it gets a little muddled within that scene. It turns out kind of cool just because of what ends up happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Want to move on to spoilers, I guess?
Yeah, we can do that. So yeah, I kind of it's not really a spoiler, but this is a fugitive man on the run-ish movie. And again, like I just thought okay, so going into the second act, I was actually feeling pretty good because they introduce us to this place, and it's the title of the movie, The Wild Goose Lake.
Right.
And it's kind of just like this lawless, like weird, like Wild West, where it's like
kind of like a resort town, but like a really shady one.
Yeah, it's very weird, and I was cool.
It's kind of like that episode of Always Sunny where they go to the boardwalk of the Jersey Shore.
Yeah. It's
where they think it's going to be all awesome. That's just disgusting.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Florida of China.
Yeah, yeah, that's an even better way to put it.
But no, like it's
a
good setup, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This is where we're spending the second act, and like we do. But it doesn't we just we get settled into it, and like they don't explore, like they only spend like the first like 2 minutes of the second act saying like this place is really wacky and different, and then it doesn't really feel different from what we've seen until like the very end when we really start to explore like the annals of this place and like oh okay, we're going through this restaurant and this project or whatever, but I don't know, it's just it's not the best.
All right, so since we're speaking spoilers, I'm talking about, I like the idea of the first act. All right, we're going to do this thing where whoever steals more motorbikes or scooters, gets the territory because there's a dispute and one guy gets shot. And I thought, okay, I love this idea for the movie. That's just who can thief better than who. Mm-hmm. But then they completely go away from that, and it's never used at all, really, once it becomes Zhao Zhenong's story.
I expected that. I remember the trailer.
See, I didn't remember the trailer, but even still.
It's like someone's getting their head cut off, and I think I know who it is.
Well, that was a moment I almost wish wasn't in the trailer. As much as that was
it's pretty great.
Seminal moment and making me want to see the movie, it's just, it lost a little impact knowing it's coming.
You know where the movie kind of goes wrong for me in a way? Is when he gets shot by the guy. Or, no, the brother gets his head cut off. Zhao Zhenong's brother gets decapitated by the guy that he shoots, the rival, not rival gang member, but whatever, rival hoodlum.
Yeah.
And Zhao Zhenong sees this, and then he gets shot by him as well, and Zhao Zhenong's like injured, and he rolls down the hill, and then he like gets up and runs away and randomly shoots a cop.
Well, it's because he couldn't see and he didn't want to take chances. That's how I interpreted. But at the same time,
I don't have a problem with the event, but I think that's where we go wrong in terms of like, oh, this is a man on the run movie now. It's no longer a gangster like, okay, who gets to thief the best. It's just like, oh, now he's got to be chased by the cops, and now there's a bounty on his head.
Chased by the gangster.
Yeah, now he wants his family to get the money, and
that was the one thing. It's like, give your family the money. How fucking hard is this?
Yeah, I know. It's like, just turn yourself in. It's like, no, I got to do it right. Like, the fuck you talking about? Like, just go.
No, he's worried he's just going to get shot no matter what.
Well, you're clearly not like worried about walking around in public, like. Because he's like in that fucking train station, and he's like, what did he say? Like, police don't hang out in public stations. I'm like,
Or they don't hang out in this one.
yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
I've never been to China, but like, wasn't there a cop like when you walked in at the security gate or something?
That's the other thing. There's all these guys tailing him the whole time. Why don't they just
Yeah.
shoot him already if they're so close to him?
Like, just walk up to the police precinct wearing that hoodie that you're wearing through the movie or whatever the fuck, and just say like, yeah, I'm Zhao Zhenong. I'm turning myself in.
Right, and another thing, if he's so worried about getting, what's he's like, I need my family to get the money. Mm-hmm. Couldn't he have just like done that and been like, here, take it, gotta go?
Yeah, yeah.
Like if his whole worry is, well, they're just gonna kill me anyway. That was also the other thing that was kind of lost upon me. It's like, does this guy give a shit about being killed or not?
Yeah, you lose a lot in the second act. Not just the direction of the story, but the characters as well.
Yeah, well, that was the other thing is, now, as 2019 has proven to us thus far, having shitty people as not necessarily protagonists, but main characters, that's not an issue. Mm-hmm. But in order to have that shitty person, they have to, work as a main character. They need to be really fleshed out. And I felt like Zhao Zhenong was very flat.
Mm-hmm. And the movie, I think, at the very least, understood that in the end, because he does get killed.
Right, and I think the movie was aware enough where it's a tragedy. He doesn't change, so he gets killed.
But it's not a full tragedy in that, in the end, the money does go to his family.
Yeah, I hate that shot where it's like, where are they going? Who cares? Mm-hmm. The family got the money. Don't try and act like this is so like mysterious.
Yeah, and
it did that classic indie movie thing, and then they walked, but you don't know where. It's like, shut the hell up.
They walked away.
Yeah, we get it. They went to the bank. They got the money. The fucking end.
Yeah. I did not feel the relationship at all between Zhao Zhenong and the prostitute. So there's a part with a fellatio. Yeah, and it's just really unnecessarily like, ooh, wow, you showed
dirty
this.
Movie.
Ooh,
and then she spits his
spoo.
Yeah, spits his stuff into the water, and I thought. The funny thing I thought about that, it just seems so out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Okay, I remember they're sitting in the boat and they're kind of cuddling up to each other. It seemed more like a platonic way for some reason.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, what is she? I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Undoing the belt buckle. Oh, okay.
And then you see
really out of place.
And then you see the shot and you're like, oh, okay. Jesus.
And you're like, yeah.
I guess I can't tell my mom what I saw tonight.
Yeah.
No, it's just not the, and that again, that's in the second act, and
in the second, okay, so by the midpoint, let's say, there must be a good, I want to say 20 minutes where there's no action scenes at all.
Yeah,
and I thought to myself, why would you have a martial arts style brawl in the beginning, and
to
then
lead us to this?
Yeah, I thought you could have made that a much more realistic, less stylized fight scene. Mm-hmm.
And it would have been like, all right, I kind of expect this second act then.
Right. It's like a quote unquote fight scene if there are many in a Scorsese movie.
Right.
Or like a fight scene like the fight in fucking Strangers on a Train at the end. It's not it's not like what's his face, like Vance Frawley's what the fuck's his name?
Oh,
not Vance Frawley. That's fucking
Farley Granger.
Yeah, I was thinking of Fred Mertz from I Love Lucy.
Oh,
anyway, yeah, that guy.
Yes,
whatever his name is. Mm-hmm. Also in Rope.
He is.
Like it's not like he's like 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, like throwing like perfect. It's just like it's a kind of a grittier. Sort of sloppier fight.
Yeah, you don't watch the scene in fucking The Departed when De Niro slams the boot on DiCaprio's hand. This is an action movie.
I was half expecting like Lee Mubai to show up.
Yeah, no.
Dragon Dragon just like talk about how undisciplined these gangsters are while hitting him with a goddamn branch.
Fucking,
you know what I mean? It's like
Ip Man shows up.
Yeah. Like it was too stylized. Not, and that's not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. It's just don't fucking lead me on like this is going to be the fucking movie.
Right, I agree.
And then it became more or less the grittier style stuff from that point on, though.
Yeah, the ending has a great sort of
the umbrella.
The umbrella.
Yeah.
There's a kind of a set piecey scene where there's a shootout.
I thought that was all really, again, that was the third act.
Great.
Really well done. The shootout in the slum.
And then there's like the whole slum sequence, like where he's got to escape and there's cops flooding the area and there's a sequence in a restaurant and it's all very good at the end.
That's one thing I would say this movie did a mostly good job at, was they did a good job of bringing the viewer into the world of this movie.
Yeah.
But to your point, it's weird. The place where they went wrong was Goose Lake. Mm-hmm. I felt like, number one, we didn't really spend a lot of time there.
And it didn't feel like it. It kind of
was like all over the city.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. It was weird that they spent not enough time in the main, or seemingly the main location.
I agree.
Yeah.
Do you know what this movie is called in Chinese, actually?
What's that?
So, the actual title of this movie is, if the damn thing will load, A Rendezvous at a Railway Station in the South.
I kind of like that title better.
It's a little bit more like, oh, okay, so this might be a drama.
Yeah, that sounds a little more noir-esque. Mm-hmm. That was the other thing. I thought it was noirish. A lot of people were kind of using that word to describe it, and I guess
definitely
the bathing beauty was sort of the femme fatale.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, because she's the one who gets him caught at the end, basically. Mm-hmm. But, like, when he gets killed at the end, I'm kind of like, I didn't feel anything at all.
Yeah, you're just like, oh.
Yeah, he kind of sucked. Oh, well.
And in the movie, at the very least, it's like, yeah, we know he sucks, so we'll give you a little bit by giving the wife the money.
Yeah.
Like, all right. That's
like, okay. And I guess the bathing beauty is like best buds with them now.
Yeah.
Which she's probably like, I'm getting half. I'm going to shank you if you don't give me. I don't know. I thought it was just okay, but like very flawed, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. It was cool to go, though, because it was great to give something a chance.
That it was.
So let's move on to scores. What do you got?
I'd give it a 6. I don't regret watching it at all, but it is because that second act is because it's so prolonged and directionless. It really suffered for me, though. That first and third act are very solid. Second act was lacking, so 6 out of 10.
I'm gonna go 2.5 out of 5 because I think you just can't have a movie where a second act is where things fall apart to me. That or not fall apart, but you can't do that where. Like, that should be the main crux of your movie. I can forgive endings are tough.
Yeah.
I can forgive a tough ending. Sometimes it takes a while to get started. I can forgive a slow start sometimes. Like Miller's Crossing, I'm not a fan of the beginning. Mm-hmm. Rest movie's awesome. But I cannot really fully forgive a boring and kind of meandering middle. So 2.5 out of 5 for me, and 6 out of 10 for you. Mm-hmm. So that'll do it for our review of Glow Stick Shoes Police Force. And now we move on to our second review for Parasite, directed by
Bong Joon-ho.
That's the guy's name, yes. Directed Okja and Snowpiercer.
That was amongst other Korean movies.
Right. So this is the movie that won the Palme d'Or.
It beat Wild Goose Lake and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and a bunch of others, yes.
Yes, at Cannes.
Yes, at the Cannes.
Yeah, at the Cannes Film Festivals. So this was obviously a hotly anticipated movie for a lot of people.
Us as well. I mean, the trailer looked really, really solid. Yeah,
so the trailer looked really good. And guess what? It was really good.
Yeah, this movie is pretty fucking goddamn good.
I was going to say it's more than pretty good.
Yeah.
It's actually, I would even go as far as say it's excellent.
It's pretty goddamn amazing, and it's one of the few movies, goddamn it, Q4 2019, picking up the slack.
Oh my God, I was thinking the same thing. There's been so many shitty movies for the first 3 quarters, and man, has the fourth quarter saved this year, and this is one of them. And I gotta say right off the bat, I'm really happy this is getting as wide of a release as it is.
Yeah.
Being that it's a foreign movie.
Good on Neon.
Yeah, definitely. So...
Where do we begin?
All right. Well, let's just start off with one thing that really works. The themes are very strong in this movie.
And they're varied. Like, this isn't just a movie about class. It's a movie about... it's about human nature. It's about technology.
Right.
It's about so many things. Materialism.
I would say poverty versus wealth, struggling to find work, the consequences of one's actions.
Oh, man.
Selfishness versus altruism, loyalty to family. That's another big one. So
What it means to belong.
Right. And as I've stated in other reviews, it also goes with another ongoing theme of this year. Unfortunately, all the movies, there's no time for happy movies being good this year.
No.
Nope.
Like last year, my favorite movies were like fucking Mission Impossible, Fallout, Spider-Man,
like
Mr. Rogers. This year, it's like just Joker and this, and it's doom and gloom, man.
Shitty people as main characters.
Yes.
But this kind of plays with that. It's like, how shitty are they?
And how
are some of the main characters shittier than others?
How shitty are they in comparison to other characters on the other side of things?
So let's just get with the plot real quick. So the plot is about this poorer family living in the slums of South Korea, and one of them gets a job because of his friend to work with this rich family on the other side of town, I guess. But then what happens is he and the other family members also get jobs at this place, and they learn some secrets, and
they infest this house.
Yeah.
And no spoilers.
Oh, God, it's hard to talk about. Okay, so it's about this family that works for this rich family, and secrets are uncovered.
Shit goes down.
Yeah, and they learn secrets about the family, or about the rich family, and the rich family learns secrets about them. It's an interesting. It's weird. I compared this almost to like an episode of Faulty Towers or something.
At times, yeah.
Yeah, it's like very farcical.
At times, yeah.
Yes, at times.
Well, see, that's the thing I was going to say about
it's
this.
very hard to talk about this without spoiling.
Well, the thing I love about this movie is that, and this was something everybody was saying and has said about other Bong Joon-ho films, which after seeing this fucking thing, I'm going to have to do my research on, because god damn it, this movie's good and I want to see more of this dude's shit.
Same.
This, a lot of people I've been hearing say, like, yeah, it's a good movie, and like you can't really they said you can't really pin it down to one genre. And I'm like, okay, I'm not really sure what that means. After seeing it, you're like, yeah, no, I get that. Because this is, throughout the intent, it's 2 hours and like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It is a comedy, thriller, horror. Like, there's some horror shit in here.
It's a lot of things.
It's a drama. Like, there's so much. And like, and I can understand people saying, how the fuck can it pull that off? I don't know. It
just
fucking
does.
did. It did it.
You want to know why? Because its pacing is good. Number one, that's one of the reasons. Number two, it takes its time setting up each one of those elements. At first, it starts off as a comedy, but then when secrets are uncovered, it becomes a little more serious.
Right.
And then, I would say the biggest part of that is the consequences of actions. Think, oh, that's so silly. But I would say the question that you're waiting for, as soon as the whole family is working for you, you think, how is this going to blow up in their faces later?
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like by the time that, exactly, like there's almost a pattern that's set up. It almost feels like an Aesop fable where it's like,
yes,
and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. And like the movie kind of finishes that off, and there's still like an hour and 15 minutes left, and you're like, well, what now? And then there is a what now, and you're like, oh my God, what the fuck now? Here we go. Here's this whole part of the movie, and that's really, it's not even a criticism. It's like the movie starts off, and it is very light in tone, and it's very comedic, and there's a middle portion where we kind of settle in, and the movie kind of, it doesn't grind to a halt, but it slows down, and it kind of eases you into the second part of the movie, which is a lot more, I don't even know how to describe it. It's the more darker part of the movie.
However, to bring back something you kind of just said, they ease you into it because they kind of hint at it. Because even at the very beginning, there's this one particular part with the sister.
Yeah.
When you kind of get her MO and what kind of character she is, you think, okay, this is funny still, but this took a dark turn. And each step gets a little darker, And there's a new element. It gets a little darker, and there's a new, I guess, there's something.
New fold, new wrinkle.
Yes, there's a new wrinkle, and then it's just the rabbit hole goes deeper.
And what I love is that there's so much in this where this movie begs for repeat viewing. Yeah. Like, there's so much in this, you're like, oh shit, so that's what that was. Like, stuff involving, like, stuff you probably didn't even notice. Like, stuff going on with, this isn't really a spoiler if you haven't seen the movie, but, like, stuff going on with, like, lighting fixtures in the house.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, so that's what that was. Or, like, stuff going on with, like...
It's like a mystery, almost.
Yeah, like, little offhanded remarks about, like, how certain character appears, or how they smell, or how they look. And you're like, oh, man, so that's what that was. And, like, this is, again... The best movies that I've seen this year are movies that have stuck with me in the weeks that have followed. Only like 3 have done it. Yeah. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Joker, and now this.
Yeah, I'm pretty much exactly there with you. Well, there's a couple more that I don't think you saw, but I would say the same thing for those 3, and I think part of that is the script to this is incredibly clever. I would say, without a doubt, so far, I would say this is the best script.
I would agree with you. It's the voice is so specific.
Yes, but it's also the way that there's nothing dropped on you that just feels like bullshit. If there's any quote unquote, I don't even call them twists. They kind of give you a little reference to what things are without telling you, and then when you find out, you think it's those aha moments.
It's very weird because at times, like I want to say the most of this movie feels unpredictable. Now that's except with the exception of like maybe the first act. You kind of fall into a pattern, but it's not like predictable. You're like, oh, I see where they're going with this. But then the movie shifts gears, and you're like, I have no idea what's going to happen. And it doesn't feel wacky. It doesn't feel like this is just all over the place in terms of plotting. It's like, no, this feels logical. It's just I can't for the life of me say I've seen anything like this before.
Right.
So it pans out in a way that's just fucking unbelievably fresh. And I love that. I love that I've seen a movie this year that's like, wow, I don't know what the fuck's going on and like what's going to happen.
You have no idea where it's going.
Yeah, I'm kind of freaked out. In a good way.
And the major developments that occur, they just make everything more interesting.
Right.
Which is, I mean, that sounds so obvious, but you know what? I can't say the same for a lot of movies that have come out this year.
Mm-hmm. It's a different breed.
Right. This is in the top league.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if we're going to talk technical standpoints, now we know the story is amazing. Cinematography is so on point.
Oh man, and I think you remember when I said in the trailer review / discussion where I was like, I like how the trailer, like the shots in the trailer get better. Yeah. I felt the same way about the movie. Like we start out in the slums and it's like kind of like monotone and like just like very like grays and like light like white colors, and then we get into the house and like everything gets warm, like the rich family's house, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And then without spoiling anything, stuff happens in the latter half of the movie where you're like, they start throwing like set pieces on you, like without spoiling anything. Again, there's like elements, like they start throwing like, how the hell did they shoot this with this happening with the fucking movie, or with this happening with this scene? It's a really impressive movie. The framing of the shots are all deliberate. There is one shot in this movie that involves a character.
Is it time to move on to spoilers?
Yeah, let's fucking go.
All right, so spoilers. Oh man. Okay, so the way that they all get their jobs,
hilarious.
I love that they're all such liars.
They're very good.
But part of me thinks, why, if you guys have these skills, and I mean, I get that they were struggling to find jobs. They got to think that this is going to be a problem when all 4 of them are going to pretend they don't know each other.
I love that scene when they're like finally in there and they're like all in their own element. It's like they're almost like living in a home and they're playing these characters and they're like kind of ribbing each other.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, as I guess we'll clue the people in. So the kid, there's 4 characters: the brother, the sister, the mom, and the dad. Mm-hmm. The brother gets a job and he pretends not to know his sister, but says, "Oh, I know this person who'd be a great art teacher." It's because the rich family is also it's kind of like a weird
parallel.
Parallel: son, daughter, mother, father. So the son is like really rambunctious, and the daughter, she takes it to a whole level with, she becomes his art tutor. Mm-hmm. But she says to get more money, have you noticed this pattern on your son's paintings? It's like, what's that? He always does this thing in the right corner, and that's what we call the schizophrenia thing. Or something.
The schizophrenia zone?
Yeah, the schizophrenia. So
God.
she tortures this poor lady who's trying to do the best she can for her son, and seems like a decent parent.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes. So she's like, we're not only going to have to teach him art, we're going to have to teach him art therapy.
Yep.
And the second I heard that, I said, okay, so that's what's going on. Mm-hmm. It's not just a con. These people are kind of awful.
And I think by the time you get the dad in there with the driver, you're like, oh my God, the maid is next, and the mom is going to be in there.
Can I tell you how much I love? Let's go through it again. Jessica, only child, Chicago, Illinois.
The mnemonic device?
Yeah.
That, and like, I was dying. Like, I was laughing out loud, the scene with the tuberculosis and the hot sauce on the napkin.
Yeah.
I was fucking dying to the point where, like, the people next to me, like, they weren't, like, disturbed, but, like, I was the only one laughing in my row. Like, me and Abby, but, like, I was fucking laughing, and the guy next to me was, like, stoic. I'm like, this is funny as shit. Like, what the hell, people? Like, I don't know. But it was so clever. Like, I wasn't even laughing because it was hilarious. I was laughing because, wow, this is just really smart. Like, this is very well done.
Well, that's the other thing. And then as if the movie couldn't get any crazier. Mm-hmm. Like, you're already worried, because that's what's so great. They've already caused tension by being in the house and all four of them being so full of shit. Mm-hmm. Really taking them, quote unquote, to the cleaners, no pun intended, since the mom is
a maid.
Yeah. But so they get the one maid fired, but she comes back because she forgot something. What's that thing she forgot? Her husband, who's been living in the bunker.
That scene, I was like, holy shit. They're not the first ones that have done they're not the first ones that have infested this house. And I'm like, this movie is fucking brilliant.
And you know what the best part is? That explains the kid where, okay, so Jessica says, has he had any incidents in the past? The mom says, oh my God, yes. It was like a John Edwards show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, dude.
You know what I mean? It's just like she was reaching for something, and then the second the mom said that there was an incident, Jessica's just like, or whatever the hell her real name is, but Jessica just, she's thinking like, score.
That scene where she's talking about the flashback where the kid's eating the cake and he sees the fucking guy standing there, like just the top of his head and eyes, like his eyes are like wide open. Fuck that. Like, that image is burned in my head. I'm like, no thanks. That's fucked up, and I don't like that at all.
Yeah, that's a scary thing to look at.
That guy, by the way. Yeah. Oh my God, what a fucking creep. Great performances all around.
Yeah. Speaking of performances, the little kid.
Yeah.
You want to know something interesting I noticed about him? He seemed to be the most observant.
Yeah.
Like the Mr. Park, the dad. He thought he was onto something, but he couldn't really figure it out. Mm-hmm. And anything he sort of figured out, it was because of something his son noticed first. Like, the son noticed that they all smell the same.
Yep. They're like, how are we going to fucking do this? We got to start doing our laundry in different fucking loads.
Yeah, we've got to start using different soap or whatever.
And then I love that line where it's just like, he's like, isn't it great that we're even having this predicament? Like, a couple months ago, we were just worried about getting by. Now we got to worry about, like, fooling this kid. I'm like, God, this just feels like real people talking about this shitty situation that they fucking put themselves in.
I love how they're having their little high school party.
Yeah.
They're all getting drunk because the Park family is going camping, but it gets rained out. Yeah. Then you just see them doing such a shitty job of cleaning up because they just don't have any time.
Oh man, it is. That whole second half, it almost feels like a true crime story.
Right.
You're
well,
like,
see, that's the thing. I would say you could sum up this movie like this. It's all fun and games until someone gets stabbed at a birthday party.
That scene where he just like stumbles into the birthday party with the knife and like no one even notices and he's just like looking around, like deciding where to go. I'm like, this is fucking horrifying. Like, it's amazing.
It's horrifying, but it also sums up the themes of the movie. Mm-hmm. Just feeling ignored, like you don't count.
Yeah.
and the
feeling
whole idea
neglected,
of fitting in,
turned away from. The reason why Mr. Park kills the dad, or
no,
Mr. What's his name?
The dad of
the dad kills Mr. Park.
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing
he was turned away from, or someone like him was turned away from.
There's a super important moment that gives you a clue that Mr. Park has that darkness in him when they're drinking, and then he winds up like he's gonna hit the wife.
Yeah,
and they says, "Oh, I was joking, right?" But you get the feeling, I don't think you were.
That was a little too good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that and just the conclusion, it makes you think so much, like how he ends up in the fucking basement and he's doing the lights now. It's like,
yeah,
I was thinking about it on the drive to work the next day. I was like, wait a minute. So he killed the owner of the house and ends up in the basement. Is that what happened to the guy before and the architect that built that house before? Like, what happened to the architect? Because I know, like, the maid said, like, yeah, we used to live here and the architect left, or the architect is no longer here. It's like, did he get killed and, like, somehow, like, I don't fucking know. Like, it makes you think, like, how the fuck did the husband, like, end up in that position? And, like, what happened to the owner before them? And it just made me think about the whole movie in a different way. It's cyclical. You know, you're like, wow, this is just like how the movie started in a way.
Yeah.
God damn, it's so good. It's like a bleak ending where he said, you know, we see the kid finds out that his dad is living in the basement again.
And then his sister's been killed.
And he's like, I'm going to fucking buy that house and you're going to be able to just come out whenever you please. You're not going to have to live in there anymore. But it's just like, I'm not there yet. I'm going to have to earn that money, Dad. And it's like, fuck, that's so fucked.
And you know the sad thing is you probably won't.
No, it probably won't ever happen.
And then on top of that, I do like the ending. It really makes you realize, even though I said that they're all kind of shitty people, I felt badly, like, for the sister character. I didn't want her to die.
No, I didn't want anybody to get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing is the movie doesn't have... The ethics aren't that simple. Mm-hmm. Oh, they tricked this rich family, therefore they deserve to die? No. Mm-hmm. You felt badly for them, even despite the shit they had done to the Park family. And the other thing is, you know the Park family is going to end up okay at the end of the day. Yeah.
Or like, oh, wow, the dad doesn't like the smell of poor people, you know, and he deserves to get killed. It's like, no, but this is just...
he didn't deserve to get killed either.
Yeah, you're like, this is just this problem or this thing is symbolic of a greater issue, which is like the disconnect between classes in this society. And it's just really, there's also small stuff like that scene where he's trying to talk to fucking Mr. Park, or Mr. Kim's trying to talk to Mr. Park in the back of the car. And he's just like, eyes on the road.
Yeah.
And it's just a little subtle dig. Like, remember, dude, you're just the fucking help.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I just want to be your friend, man. Like, I want to be a part of this house. I want to be a part of this family.
Well, and of course, what's his name? Is it what's the son's name? Whatever.
Oh, the son. I think it's Chung Suk Kim.
Whatever. The son of the
tutor son.
Yeah, the shyster family.
Yeah.
So the son, he of course is more than friends with the daughter.
Yeah.
Which I think is so hilarious because his one friend was like, I don't want all those disgusting freaks, you know, ogling her and whatever.
He even says the same exact thing, like, I'm going to ask her out as soon as she goes to college. Yeah. It's like, he just fucking said that. That's great. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant movie. One of the best of the year for sure.
Yeah. Want to move on to scores?
Let's do it.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Perfect score.
Oh, really?
Oh, no?
Well, okay. Look. This might be... I don't hold me to this score. I gave it a 9, but it probably will... I guarantee you it'll bump itself up. Because it is absolutely one of the best movies I've seen this year.
Oh.
And it might be in my revised scores.
Might be in your revived scores, but it's going to take a while to get there.
I'm still thinking about it. I saw this last week.
This movie was amazing.
It's brilliant, and it gets better even the more I think about it. And I assure you it will not rest it enough.
How many movies have you seen like this?
Fucking zero.
And the funny thing is, the things I compared it to, it's only partly. Like Fawlty Towers, only partly.
Yeah, it's not
Shameless?
Yeah, parts.
Partly. Mm-hmm. This is
Talented Mr. Ripley, a little bit, partly.
But this is so its own thing because it took so many worlds and made them collide. And I think that's part of the thing is the families versus, all that selfishness versus altruism. I think that was part of the thing about having these things collide and having a guy in a basement collide with the fact that there's this liar family who's like infested this house. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, sometimes you don't know. Like, that maid needed that job for more reasons than you thought. The original maid.
Mm-hmm. Fuck it. It's a perfect score.
Yeah.
Put it at 15 out of 15.
All right. That's 2 for the year. I cannot believe it. I would not have guessed that. So that'll do it for our review of The Boy Who Smelled People. And now we move on to our final review, a non-spoiler review of Zombieland 2 Double Tap. Alright, so right off the bat, we pick up where we left off with the first Zombieland. The zombie family, whatever.
Wichita, Tallahassee, Columbus,
and Little Rock.
Little Rock, yes.
Are all living in harmony in the White House. Mm-hmm. But then zombies attack and adventures follow therefore.
Yes.
So, I just want to say the main problem with this movie, I didn't hate it, but I didn't really love it either. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like Home Alone 2. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is, Home Alone 2, it's basically the same exact goddamn movie. Mm-hmm. But what makes it, or what excuses that, for lack of a better term, is the fact that it's still so goddamn funny. Mm-hmm. And it's still clever and well done and well written. This, it just felt like more of the same, but none of it is good.
Yeah, I think that much like the follow-up to their 2016 smash hit Deadpool, the screenwriting duo behind this, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who did return to this, returning to the world of a beloved film that honestly did so much, I think, for comedy, action, and screenwriting altogether, it was all to kind of uninspiring results. And I think in a manner similar to Deadpool 2, this movie, Zombieland Double Tap, is at its best a decent, doodle of the spirit and magic that drew laughs and gasps and even some emotions for some back in 2009. And this is not that good of an evocation. It's not that close.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing I noticed, is that the humor especially felt real phoned in. And I think part of that might have been it's a strike while the iron's hot situation. Because in my mind, you have, generally speaking, between 2 and I'd say 7 years to make a sequel. Mm-hmm. And yes, there are exceptions where sometimes even all the way up to 10 years you can make a good sequel, but that's far and few. And this was 10 years later, and I felt like they just waited too long. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of hard to recapture that magic. Also, a couple of the twists, without giving away they're so obvious. Incredibly obvious.
Yeah. There's also just, I would say, overall, at its worst, this movie is just, it's shallow and it's comedically confused and just narratively uninspired.
Right.
They retread, the fan service. They retread through so many jokes and plot points and scares that I've seen done better elsewhere. And, some of those, most of those were in the first movie.
You know what's
so
funny?
Many.
You mentioned that is, there are a lot of times where I said, huh? Is it because they're referencing something from the first one, as if you would remember it from 10 years ago, verbatim? Mm-hmm. I don't remember all of this. And I agree with you about it being comedically confused, because Zoe Deutsch, however the hell you pronounce her name, her character felt too outlandish compared to Tallahassee, Little Rock,
right,
and Wichita and all them.
This is different from the first movie in that, look, the first one, the characters were really well developed, and it's not a fucking masterpiece in terms of cinema. I get that, but they had depth. Tallahassee started out and he was a hard ass. He was kind of an asshole. But then you learned out that his fucking dog died. And then you learned out it's not even his dog, it's his child. Yeah. Wow, this is really fucking deep.
And he just wants some Twinkies.
He just wants some Twinkies. And you learn that, Jesse Eisenberg is, he's kind of like this nebbishy guy, but, he's very smart and he's very resourceful and he's got a plan and he's got needs. This one, it's just there's so many characters in this that were just stereotypes. Zoe Deutsch has no use beyond just being the punchline, beyond being the dumb valley girl.
And she was, if this were like an Anchorman movie, yes.
Right.
Her character fits in. But in this world, even though it is unrealistic because zombies don't exist, the characters are supposed to be a little more grounded. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't feel like she fit in entirely. And all the other new characters were just barely in this.
The Berkeley characters, the same thing with the stereotypes and the Luke Wilson, Thomas Middleditch segment. And like, is this a Farrelly Brothers movie? Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is a bit that would not have worked in the world of the first movie, I feel.
Well, and also, I guess without giving too much, they're not in it for very long.
Right.
And they serve... That whole section is a complete detour.
Yeah, that sort of serves to the whole point of just this narrative being confused.
Rosario Dawson's shoehorned in as well. There's also a really dumb Deus Ex Machina moment at the end.
Yeah.
Also, the whole the hippie compound place, without giving away too much. Wouldn't it have been more interesting if more of the movie took place there?
Yeah, it feels kind of like an afterthought.
Yeah, it just felt like, oh, and then there's this place. Instead of, well, shouldn't that be where most of the movie takes place? I don't know. Also, the rules were a little fast and loose with these supposedly better zombies. Mm-hmm. Like, well, it seems like you killed that one the same way you would the old ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's, I don't know. This movie felt like it changed what it wanted to be about. I mean, literally about, like, oh, we got to find this character. Then, 5 minutes later, it's like, well, we need to go here to find this character. No, we got to go here. No, we don't need them. We don't need to find them anymore. It's like, also, what?
Which one? Little Rock? Is that Abigail Breslin?
Yeah.
Her character sucked in this. It was written terribly.
Yeah, she didn't have a whole lot to do.
She didn't have a whole lot to do, and it was just kind of like this... I'm so bored of this, like, angsty teen, even though she's supposed to be...
One-dimensional angsty teen.
23 or whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that didn't really work. I guess if there was one thing that was done well, the action was pretty good.
Yeah, it was fine. I wish there was more of it. Some of it was CGI, some of it was not good.
Yeah. I think part of the problem was... The action was pretty good, but the scenes in between, sometimes you're just waiting for things to pop off. Like, get to the good shit. Mm-hmm. So this was not good, but it was watchable.
Like, look, I get it. Like, writing movies is it's hard, especially when the film you're writing is a sequel to a movie that's as refreshing as the first Zombieland. Like, you can't put that genie back in its proverbial bottle. It's the same thing with Deadpool 2 versus Deadpool 1. It's impossible to do, but you could have either put more effort into delivering a solid follow-up anyway, or opted for a more timely release, or, better yet, perhaps you could have just foregone the idea of a sequel entirely and just simply let the time slip by like you already have.
Yeah.
But I still had a decent time with this. Like, if you like the first Zombieland, it's worth a look. It's not going to be as good. Like, I think anybody who thinks this is as good or better, Jesus, I don't think I know anybody who thinks this is as better as the first one.
A lot of chatter that people think this is as good.
As good,
that's
not as outlandish as better. Like, anybody who says this is better, like, you're out of your fucking mind, I think. But whatever.
Your opinion's wrong.
Your opinion's wrong, man. Like,
Not allowed.
Not allowed. It's incorrect mathematically.
Yeah.
That's whatever, but I don't see it. I would, we're moving on to scores.
Yeah.
I would give this a 6.5. The 0.5 comes from just my love of the characters and honestly seeing, like, it does look like Woody Harrelson and Jesse Eisenberg and even Emma Stone are, like, genuinely happy and enthusiastic to be playing these characters again. Abigail Breslin, I don't know.
I would almost say it kind of felt like they were trying, but with weaker material.
The material for sure, but like it looked like.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in this movie for God's sake, and it's like they could honestly be. They've all moved on to bigger and better things, except Woody Harrelson. He's kind of just been doing the same thing because he's fucking Woody Harrelson. He's the shit.
He's just doing whatever
Emma
he
Stone's
wants.
Got an Oscar. Jesse Eisenberg was Lex Luthor, but
that didn't work. He's doing other things.
But like, it was cool to see them back. But beyond that, I'm not falling for the nostalgia thing, man. It's not a great movie.
6.5. I'm gonna go 2.5 because I was starting to get bored at some points, and that was like that's when it really occurred to me. Like this really is, as you pointed out, a little too similar to Deadpool 2 in that you're trying to make something that was kind of about, let's pick apart a genre or whatever, and, point out its flaws or, like, whatever, like, kind of do that whole thing.
Deconstruct it.
Deconstruct. That's what the fuck I was looking for. Tried doing that, and it just doesn't work a second time, so, to me, because it's watchable, even though it's kind of flat line, I'm going to give it 2.5.
Okay, so that brings it to a total of a 9 out of 10, or a 9 out of 15.
So that'll do it for our review of not as good version of the first one. Now we're going to do some quick album reviews, one old and one new. For my old album, I'm going to do Tabula Rasa, which is a collection of songs and a collaborative effort of Jiabing Chen on the erhu, VM Bhat on the Mohanvinya, I don't know how it's called, and Bella Fleck on the banjo.
Oh.
It's like world music. It's just Bella Fleck doing the banjo stuff and this guy on this, like, it's sort of a sitar-ish instrument, and then the Chinese violin, the erhu.
Oh.
It's actually surprisingly good.
The sitar was called the Uncle Vanya, you said it was called?
Yeah, something like that. No, I mean, I don't mean surprisingly good as in, like, it was going to suck, but I was, like, blown away by how good this album is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then for my new album, even though it's not new, so I'm cheating like you did, I'm going to go with Animals as Leaders Weightless, which some crazy jokesters try and pass off like it's the worst album when I think it's their best.
Okay, solid.
Because it's got the jazzy parts, the shreddy parts, the metal parts, and not so much on the dumb degenty shit. It's just good progressive metal. All right, what do you got?
So, my old album is going to be another soundtrack. This one is Hitman Blood Money by Jesper Kyd. It's the soundtrack to the game.
Okay.
I love it.
A lot of strings, synths. What do we got?
Both.
Oh.
It is a string synth. It's like an electronic orchestral hybrid. It's real fucking good.
One of the kind of like some Dark Knight stuff.
Ish. Yeah. Actually, those were like my two albums. Yeah, the Batman Begins and the Hitman Blood Money soundtracks were often frequented by my ears.
And then what do you got for new?
New is also a semi-new album. It's not that new. It's the Shins, Heartworms, their fifth album. It's a good one.
When did that come out?
2017.
What the hell? Why don't I know this?
It's semi-recent. Also, this is sort of a kind of cheating, but there's a companion album to this, Heartworms, called The Worm's Heart. It's every track from Heartworms, but every track has been flipped. So meaning like it's just every track, but like either like the slow songs from Heartworms are played fast, or like the softer songs are played as acoustic. That's like, or whatever.
Yeah, there's this band, The Sword, that did a similar thing. It was called like, I don't know, it was like Country Day and Country Night, or I don't remember what the fuck it was called, but it was something like that where they did the whole album like stoner metal or stoner rock style as they do, but then they also did all the songs acoustic. It was awesome. Yeah,
so kind of cheating, but technically it's like it's one album.
Whatever. Shins are good stuff, man.
They are.
I haven't heard their.
They get a bad rap, but I think they're good music.
You know, they're one of the few indie / hipster rock bands that I will always go to bat for.
For sure.
Because Pink Bullets, killer song.
Oh yeah, dude. Fucking
that, what the hell is it called? Feel like I'm riding on the handlebars of Blind Man's Bike. I don't know.
Oh yeah. I forgot what that one's called.
It's got that weird tape. Yeah. It's good stuff.
I like it.
Yeah. And plus, like, you're just an asshole if you don't like new slang. It's a fact. It's not, again.
I don't care that it's in Garden State. Fuck you. It's a good song.
Yes.
The song was first.
Thank you. All right. So that'll do it for album reviews. And that'll do it for this episode. So thank you for listening to episode 57 of Bonus Features with Alex and Robert. I'm Alex.
And I'm Robert.
And we sure have enjoyed talking movies. And other shit, too. So follow us on all our social media. You can find us by searching Bonus Features with Alex and Robert to find us on Facebook, YouTube, Shout Engine, fuck, I'm forgetting,
iTunes.
Yeah. Spotify.
And Twitter.
Oh, and Twitter. Great. That's bonus features AR because they're dicks and won't give us enough letters.
Yeah. Character limits and such.
Yep. It's really good. I'm limiting people on characters.
Limiting speech.
Yep. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
That's exactly what it is.
Yep. No, but find us on the other 5 that we actually like.
Yeah.
All right, so that'll do it. Thank you guys for listening. See you guys next time.